Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Hi, everyone. We're back, and we're here with Inita Callaway. Inita, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited when you reached out to be on the show because you wanted to talk about the power of words and the power of your mindset. And over the last few months, I've really started to embrace that, working with a life and a business coach, and how different life feels and is because of that. So I wanted you to come on and kind of talk about what that means, the power of words, like how and your mindset, like what does that actually mean outside of thinking about it, and how that translates into the real world.
So I'll just start with me. So for me, first of all, I was divorced in 2017. And that's kind of when my journey started of becoming, right? I would say things like from childhood, childhood trauma, we all have them. I'm stupid, I'm sad. I would say all type of things about me to degrade myself, right? Because that's how I was feeling inside, right? And then I finally decided to start therapy. So that's when it started for me. When I started therapy, like I have done therapy before, but really get into it and actually do what they were telling me to do. And then I started looking at myself and saying, you know what? The words that I am saying are really affecting my body. They're affecting my mind. So what that meant for me was I had to start ingesting different things, what I'm watching, what I'm reading, what I'm listening to, because those start to create your thoughts, right? All day long, those things create your thoughts. So what you're thinking then becomes the type of thing that you start saying, right? Then you'll start saying stuff like, wow, I can do that. Or wow, I'm strong, or I'm worth it. So that's kind of how it started for me. I had to start by what I was looking at, what I was seeing, and what I was hearing. Well, looking at seeing something, but what I was hearing, what I was looking at. So, and that meant getting away from some friends, right? Because those people were creating some things in my life that I didn't want. So then you have your thoughts, then you have your words, and then you have your actions. Because whatever you start to say, right, that's where your body moves towards. Whatever you start to say, that's what your body moves towards. And I'm a firm believer of that. It's been happening over and over in my life. I see evidence in other people's lives that are close to me. So I watch what I listen to, what I watch, and those become my words, right? Because I'm feeling a way about myself. So I say certain words, or I always speak positive. Even sometimes I'll slip up because I'm not perfect, right? And I'll say something like, oh man, you make me so sick, right? And then I have to quickly think about that and retract what I said because I didn't mean it like that. But we always have to remember everything that we say has an effect on us. Maybe not now, but at some point it does. So I always say if I have like a back pain, right? Sometimes my back hurts. And I won't say my back is killing me because that was my favorite thing to say. I'll say my back is paining me at the moment. Or I'm in temporary pain. I'll say things like that. Or, if money flow is not where it is, I won't say I'm broke. I'll say something like my cash flow is experiencing some hardships right now, but it'll be okay, right? Or sometimes I say I can't afford it at this moment, right? I'll say something like that. I always put the caveat on the end because I don't want to have a definite statement. I'm broke. I have been saying that for some years, until I finally got it right. Dog is trying to get out now. He's straight out.
Do you want to go let him out?
No.
Okay.
No, he's fine. He should have took the cue when I gave it to him earlier.
We've got dogs on the set today, everybody, and that's okay.
He's literally trying to get out. I can't let you out. I'm sorry. But yeah, so I really believe that your words are very powerful. Watch what you say, watch what you're listening to, and watch what you're watching, right? Because some of the things that we're watching, they influence us. It may not be directly, but they influence us some type of way, right? Because if it could be something that you're thinking about, and then you watch something else, and now you've created something, and then you start talking like that, and then your body starts to move that way. So I'm a firm believer in that. So what I always say to people is, this is a quote I came up with a while ago. which was your words are expensive, so you use them wisely. And what I mean by that is we cannot afford to just speak ill of ourselves, ill of others, or ill about our lives because they're expensive. And what price are you willing to pay? What are you willing to pay for those words that you spoke that you really didn't mean? Even in haste, even when you're chatting with your friends, always really be mindful of what you're talking about and what you're saying, what you're putting out into the atmosphere, because it will come back. It will come back. And our words create our world, right? Our words create our world. I tell that to everybody. I tell my children that all the time. Your words create your world. Because when you have teenagers, they'll say anything, right? Especially when they're angry. I know I did as a teenager. I said all type of stuff. But now, I tell them, you know what? Your words create your world. Start saying the things that you want to see in your world, right? Start thinking about those things. Start gravitating to those things, reading about those things, watching those things, looking at other people that are doing what you want to do, and it'll start to create your world. So all those things go together. Thoughts, words, action. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, it's almost like the old saying that I think everybody says but doesn't really think of is like, be careful what you wish for.
Yes.
And like it's a saying you throw out there,
Yeah.
but like if you really think about that and you follow that, and because you also start seeking stuff out, if I just did this the other day, my computer wasn't working right away in the morning, and then as I was trying to figure that out, the washing machine went off, and like washing machines now have all these beeps and they go on for 20 minutes. And I was like, I just need 5 seconds. And I said, this is the day it's going to be. And my boyfriend said, what did you just say? And I was like, and he stopped me. He was like, don't say that. He's like, it's too early in the day for that. And I was like, okay. I'm like, well, I'm going to go do the laundry and then I'm going to come back. He was like, I'll fix your computer. And then the day was over. But then you start had I not been kind of checked in that moment, I feel like I would have been looking for other things throughout the day to confirm that it was going to be that kind of day. Where if you go the opposite side of that, then you're looking for all the great stuff throughout the day, right? Am I right?
Absolutely. That is a great example. And I like your boyfriend already, right? Because he was able to check you in that moment. And that is exactly right. We need those type of people in our life that can do that, right? And if you don't have those type of people in your life, and they'll just keep letting you say, oh, I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad day. What I like to say is, I'm just having a bad moment.
Yeah.
I had something that happened at work with one of my children or a girlfriend or whatever life throws at you. It's a moment, and I have the rest of the hours in my day. And I get to choose if I want to look at the bright side of things or if I want to look at all the negative things.
Yeah. I mean, it's can be so difficult to kind of change because it will take some time to do that because we are so not negative focused, but we are it's very easy to complain, but it's more difficult to sit and really think what great is. I have a sign over here on the other side of the studio that says the best is yet to come. And thinking about that, and not, like you said, not the I'm broke period. Because then that's what that's the thought process. And I was the same as you, where childhood wasn't that great, and so that was your story that you would tell everybody. And sometimes that story can change and will change, and you have to update the new version of what your story is.
Absolutely.
Speaking of books and stories, you wrote a book. Can you talk about that?
Yes. So I wrote a book called At Last Ivy, right? And it is loosely based on what I experienced, very loosely based. But it is about a 39-year-old woman who's on the cusp of 40. You know how 40, when you turn 40,
it's coming in August. I'm a little nervous.
Right. Things change, but it's great though, right? I'm loving the 40s, right? Yeah. But anyway, this character is on the heels of a divorce, and she just don't understand what's going on with her. And the backdrop is COVID, so everybody is stuck in the house. So now she has to sit with herself, and every night she's on the bathroom floor, lamenting and just not understanding what's going on. She's in almost physical pain because she's like, I'm getting ready to be 40. I thought I was going to have my family, my career, and all of these things. And she has nothing, so she faints. And then she tries to get back with her ex-husband, Nate. Of course, he played with her, how sometimes people like to do relationships. They, do the manipulation thing. And so finally she said, it was enough. She had been thinking about her children. This is going on for months. when she was just not loving herself and just on the floor crying, her children not understanding what's going on with mom. And then she became a shell of herself, right? She kind of just shut herself off from the world. It was easy because, she couldn't go outside. So she was just able to sit and wallow. And she's also a writer. So she wrote a lot of poems in the book and how she was feeling. And then she went to therapy in the book. And then finally, when she started therapy, she started to choose herself. And that's what I really wanted to get across to anybody in a relationship, not just women, men too, any type of relationship. I wanted people to know that once you start to heal, then it's easier for you to then have relationships with other people because you can have healthy ones and not toxic ones and be able to identify. There's no perfect relationship, right? Because there's a level of toxicity in every relationship, right? But do you want to have 10% or do you want to have 90%, right? You have to go to therapy in order to understand what you have done. And that's what she did. She went to therapy and she started on this journey and she ended up meeting a guy, right? She wasn't trying to meet a guy, but it just happened because she started to open herself up and started to see things. So she attract things. We attract things to us as well. Before, she was attracting the same type of men. So she attracted this guy that she met. They ended up meeting in Denver on a blind date, right? And then the blind date ended up being 7 days. It was only supposed to be a weekend, but it ended up being 7 days.
Wow.
Yeah, 7-day date. That was a time. They had a great time in Denver. And then the story just starts to matriculate onto all these great things that her mind is now opened up to receive, right? She gets a stalker, right? She finds, but she didn't find purpose, but she already knew she wanted to be a writer, but she starts to attract these different people. She finds a literary agent like on the plane. So all these great things starts to come to her, but it happened when her healing started, right? When she started to look inwardly, introspective. I'm a big fan of being introspective. We can look at ourselves and not what everybody else did or how they offended us. When we look at ourselves first, that's when the healing starts, right? And so she did that, and she had some great relationships. So I compared a lot of great relationships that she had, some toxic, some not. But it's a great story of how one goes through and grow through a process with drama and some great things. But you can't have life without drama. So she has plenty of drama and some juicy stuff in there too. But that is the gist of the book.
And where can people buy it? Where is it available?
It's at Amazon. It's on Amazon, and you just look for my name, Inita Callaway, or you can search up At Last Ivy.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And before we go, I want to talk about your ghost writing, and I know that phrase is thrown around, and
Sure.
can you explain to people what that is and how you got into it and why you do that?
Okay. So yes, I am a ghostwriter, which means I write books for other people. When I always thought of ghostwriting, I always thought of rap music. And so I always heard it, that term thrown around, I have a ghostwriter. But how I got into ghostwriting was it's been about 7 years now.
Wow.
I wrote my first book 7 years ago, and the publisher that I was working with at the time, after I submitted my manuscript, he called me about a week later. I was nervous. I thought something was happening with my manuscript, right? I'm fresh out of therapy at this point, so I'm thinking it's me still, right? And so he said, no, everything is fine, but I want to ask you if you could do some ghostwriting for me. I hired someone to do something, to do a book for me, for one of my clients, and they didn't deliver. And as he's talking to me, I'm driving. I would never forget this. I'm from Chicago. I was driving. I'm in Chicago, going to pick my son up from school. And I'm thinking, like, God, I don't know what ghostwriting is. I have no idea what to do. And he said, no, that's okay. So when do you need this done by? Because I love to write and I love words. So I figured, okay, I can do this. He said, I need it yesterday. Because at this point, the guy had it for over 6 months, this project, and he didn't deliver when he was supposed to. And so I said, okay, I'll take it. And so he sent me over about 15, 16 hours of interviews. And I had to listen to these things. Oh, he gave me 7 days to do it. He gave me 7 days to do it. He said, it only needs to be like 10,000 words. I was like, okay, I think I can swing that. But I ended up doing it in the 7 days. I absolutely loved it. And then after I listened to the interviews 1,000 times, I like immersed myself in this project. I knew I had to do a great job because this was my first like out the gate thing, because I kind of figured this was going to be a path of mine, because before I just wanted to write my own book. And so then I got a chance to talk to the actual client, and we worked together, and we had a great experience. I had such a positive experience with him. And I said, you know what? This is what I want to do. This is what I was born to do. I absolutely love helping other people tell stories and, build confidence.
Yeah.
Some people, I've worked with so many different people, and they always say, I think my story is good enough for something like that. And I always tell them, everybody has a story. I look at stories like workbooks. You know how when you're in grade school and you used to get a workbook? I was so excited to get a workbook. I don't know. I'm just weird like that. I was always excited to get a workbook.
I love that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was excited to get a workbook and answer the questions and figure things out and fill in the blanks and all the different activities and exercises that you had to do in the workbook. And I said, your life is like a workbook, right? You have so many different things that happen to you that we're trying to learn that will help someone else in their life, because we're all lights. We're supposed to help people as we can. If I've already been through it, you can take my life, which is a workbook, and see how I worked my book, right? And that's what I like to tell people. And so, yes, I absolutely love storytelling, being creative, and listening. A big part of ghostwriting is listening, because you have to listen to what they're saying so you can convey their story. And I like to dive deep in and immerse myself, like I said, because I want the reader to feel exactly what they were feeling. Because some of these topics I'm writing about are very heavy. They're very heavy, and I want people to actually understand and feel, especially if the reader has a similar story, right? So they can kind of see, well, if this person did this, maybe I can try that. Yeah. Or maybe I can try something different, something along the lines that they did. I've worked with so many great people, a lot of former NFL players, which I love, Hall of Famers. So I love ghostwriting. Absolutely love it, adore it. I've done it for a little bit of money. I've done it for no money, because I love to do it, right? But now, I mean, that's not what I'm doing now, because my life.
Now she can do it for lots of money.
Absolutely. It's lots of money now because it's my livelihood. But I'm saying that to say is, I would do it for free because I love it. I won't do it for free, but I have done it for free. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I absolutely love it. And that's how I knew that was what I was purposed to do. Help other people tell their story.
How can people connect with you to if they're interested in that or all the other things that you're about in your book?
Oh, okay. So inkwrites.com, INTWRITES.com. You can find me on inkwrites.com, send me a message, and we can go from there. You can read all about me.
Love it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. We will be right back right after this.
In this world of innovation, would you rather have an old, outdated flip phone or a brand new iPhone? A horse and buggy carriage or the newest luxury hybrid? A dial-up router with your AOL account or a super fast Wi-Fi hotspot? With nutrition, what you have been using or taking up until now hasn't been bad. There's just something newer. We all appreciate advancements in science and technology. In the same way we seek the best and newest in our electronics, vehicles, and everyday conveniences, wouldn't you also want the best technology and newest innovation for your nutrition and supplementation? At the time, you may have had the best from what was out there and available. Now, there is something better and newer, more bioavailable, more convenient, better tasting, faster acting. It literally is the equivalent to getting an IV full of high-tech nutrients right into your bloodstream, without the needle, without the appointment, without being attached to anything for a specific length of time. Simply pop these tasty, all-natural lozenges into your mouth and savor as they instantly start to absorb into your bloodstream through your mucous membranes. That's it. And with the added benefit of negative ions, in other words, energy, there isn't anything else out there on the market like it. Now is the time to switch to the next improvement and innovation in health and nutrition. It's time for advancement. It's time for better. It's time for APL Go and our rapid botanical DNA drops.
all new episodes of Make Your Day Richer TV. This week we've got intuitive healer and psychic Taiwana Yvette. From Victim to Victor Inc. founder Christopher Burstler, author of the book At Last Ivy, Inita Callaway. We're moving our bodies with Eileen Jackowitz. And from the blog Michelle's Mission, Michelle Steiner. Make Your Day Richer airs weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube and is available on all major podcast platforms.